President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth have pledged to get rid of what they call woke military standards. Generals and admirals from around the world were summoned to Quantico, Virginia, for an unprecedented gathering. Now, not much strategy or future planning for global conflict was discussed. The president, however, said this about U.S. cities as, quote, military training grounds. Please listen.
I told Pete we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military, because we're going into Chicago very soon. That's a big city with an incompetent governor, stupid governor. They need the military desperately. How about Portland, Oregon, where it looks like a war zone? And I get a call from the liberal governor, "Sir, please don't come in. We don't need you." I said, well, unless they're playing false tapes, this looked like World War II.
H.R. McMaster joins me now as National Security Advisor in the first Trump administration. He is also a CBS News foreign policy and national security contributor. H.R., I'm always glad to see you, but particularly on this day, because there's a lot to take a look at with what the president said and what the defense secretary said. First, on what you heard the president say about active duty U.S. military in American cities.
Yeah, hey, Major. I mean, there's a role for the military in support of law enforcement, but that's the critical phrase, in support of law enforcement, not to take actions against U.S. citizens who deserve and have the right to due process of law. And that's what our law enforcement gives us, and it's not the role for the military. There are roles for the military. I mean, he mentioned Portland. Remember how Portland was kind of besieged in terms of the federal buildings, and that whole neighborhood, was taken over by anarchists.
Back in 2020,
can be used in support. Back in 2020, can be used in support of law enforcement to protect U.S. citizens and to free up law enforcement for for what they do, which is to investigate crimes, make arrests, and so forth. So, hey, there is an appropriate role. It's like with so many things with President Trump, what he wants to achieve, save cities. Hey, that's a good thing. And maybe the military has a role with that. You're seeing actually that the D.C. National Guard is doing a very professional job in Washington, and they're in total coordination and support, with the mayor, the deputy mayors, with law enforcement. That's working out. But the way the president frames it, he begins to compromise kind of our covenant between the military and our citizens, and that's what concerns me.
And when he uses a phrase like "enemy from within," does that also concern you?
It does, but kind of the way he's using it, right? I mean, I think that, we swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And but what that doesn't mean is that, that doesn't adhere to a broad definition of maybe people who are politically opposed, to the president. So, and because he uses that term quite freely. And so this is where I think this undermines potentially confidence in our institutions. And what we don't want to do, Major, is drag the military into this vitriolic partisan discourse. I mean, hey, it isn't working out for other institutions and other, look at university campuses. I mean, we can't have that kind of a situation in the military. We shouldn't. Our military has a very strong professional military ethic. From our founding, Major, we've been committed to really a bold line, between partisan politics and our military institutions.
HR, I want to play for you sound from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth about women, combat, and physical requirements. Let's play that.
Our female officers and NCOs are the absolute best in the world. But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it.
Your reaction?
Hey, I think he's right about that. Now, what I really want to make sure is that there's nobody out there who misunderstands that if women don't qualify, for certain positions for like close combat and infantry or armor, because it's difficult with the differences, physiological differences in upper body strength to drag a casualty 90 feet or to evacuate an armored vehicle crewman out of a vehicle and so forth. Hey, those should be gender neutral standards, and either you make it or you don't make it, Major. But, one of the things we have to make sure is that, hey, our women are warriors. We have to recognize that they demonstrate tremendous courage, tremendous commitment to one another and to the mission, and they're willing to sacrifice for our nation. Who is more courageous, Major? An infantry combat soldier in an infantry squad in close combat, or a female fuel Hemet driver sitting in front of 2,500 gallons of JP8 fuel on a contested highway in Baghdad. Right? So I just hope that very, I think, accurate, appropriate statement that he made doesn't get misinterpreted.
I want to play also sound from the Defense Secretary about rules of engagement going forward. Please listen.
We also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters to intimidate, demoralize, hunt, and kill the enemies of our country. No more politically correct and overbearing rules of engagement. Just common sense, maximum lethality, and authority for warfighters.
Any problem with that, HR?
No problem with that. What I would have loved to have heard, Major, is a caveat to that in terms of consistent with the laws of land warfare and our professional military ethic and our warrior ethos, which you talked about. Our warrior ethos is to overmatch the enemy in combat. Don't give the enemy a fighting chance. When in doubt, bump up. In terms of your ability to overmatch the enemy. But this is really important, Major. Apply firepower with discipline and especially discrimination, consistent, not only with the laws of land warfare, but with what St. Thomas Aquinas taught us about in jus in bello theory, right? So distinguishing between combatants and non-combatants. And that's part of our professional military ethic. It's what distinguishes our military from other militaries. I don't think he was implying that we should stop, doing that to hold ourselves to that high standard. But I would have loved to hear him, just add that qualification, that qualifier, or that caveat.
HR McMaster, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Major, great to be with you.